Zidon Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are of course talking about the latest episode of My Hero Academia, episode 99. The final battle between Class A and Class B, which honestly, I love these battles because they really show how much everyone has grown in such a short amount of time. This feels like a good transition to actually help us get ready for the events of, the war. The war arc, which is not far away, mind you. Obviously, everyone improves quite a bit from this point to the war point, but as of right now, yeah, this is pretty insane. So, yeah. So, first off, though, what exactly did we get to see within this volume? As well as a little bit from last episode, because I didn't do a actual video about that yet. Both of these episodes were actually really interesting, focusing primarily on the battle, and we got to see a lot of really cool moments throughout both of these episodes. Getting to see Deku fighting Shinso and all of that jazz. Most of the episode was pretty similar to how it was in the manga, with a few workarounds to basically make it flow a little bit better for anime rather than the manga. A lot of the manga issues that we get when dealing with these things is that they can pretty much, especially when it goes into volumes, you can pretty much just go episode to episode, not really having much catch up. Maybe like one page or something, but they don't really have to do that in the actual anime, unless it's obviously you get something like on the edge of a friggin' episode. But that's about it, which is kind of interesting to say the least. I don't know. The battle is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm actually surprised because this is actually a fairly short amount of time, flowing very quickly from the moment when they get into the from when Deku wakes up, basically, like a few seconds after that, to, oh, now it's time for actual combat, and everyone goes all in. Getting to see Deku and Uraraka teaming up to basically make sure that in case something does go wrong with Deku's quirk again, then he'll at least be far enough away from everyone else and only be close to Shinso, who can put him who can basically put him under if something needs to be done. And yeah. Which, thank goodness for that. But still, I don't know. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. And especially seeing the Monoma stuff is really interesting. One thing that is extremely interesting is that they don't actually show frickin' Monoma, in the manga at least, they don't show him actually with the green shoot-offs or whatever, which I think really sells a lot better that he did actually, for a moment, have the quirk. He was about to use it. And we get to see that in multiple times later down the line, where he has the quirk, but he just can't use it. Something activates, but there's just not enough build-up for him to actually be able to use it. So, such as Ares' ability. When he eventually copies Ares' quirk, which is going to be in the next episode more than likely, when he actually uses her power, he only gains her horn, but he's not able to use the quirk itself. Primarily because there's no build-up that he was able to accomplish. same thing goes for Deku, which leads me to wonder if perhaps when he copied the quirk, all he copied was the stockpiling quirk. And as such, he's not really able to use the quirk at all, which is kind of interesting, to say the least. He hasn't had time. He hasn't had vestiges, which, needless to say, is kind of interesting. Pretty much everything is self-explanatory. There's no real issues, but I do have to say that I do absolutely love the way that they actually handle Aizawa saying, no, we're going to let them continue. A lot better, because in the actual manga, it's only like a few panels, barely anything, to be honest, which is kind of just shocking because of how important this moment is, but it feels a little bit better in the way that they actually handled it in the anime, which, yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Also, I think that the phasing out of Black Whip was a lot better in the anime, but, I mean, come on. Most fight stuff is going to be a lot better when you're actually dealing with it in anime form. In the manga, it basically fizzes out very quickly, and he starts reacting to it almost instantly. While in this, we see a little bit of time flow. The Black Whip's slowly receding into his hand, and then after they've completely receded, he feels the pain that's within his arms, and doesn't really have any issues besides that. Which, I do have to say, it's kind of interesting to see that Black Whip is kind of hardly used. It says that there's supposed to be some blowback for almost every single one of these quirks, yet that one, or basically all of them, just don't feel like they have that much. I mean, obviously quirks like Float that we're going to be seeing later in the series, cough cough, the actual big battle, which I'm kind of upset that we didn't actually get to that point in Volume 28, which is going to be getting its review soon. I'm just not exactly certain when. But yeah, that is coming soon. That was actually really interesting, and we'll talk about that more when we get to it. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool moments, and I wish I could talk more about them. But yeah, the battle is pretty self-explanatory, like I said, and I'm gonna probably say that over and over again. But it does feel longer. Pretty much, I believe, yeah. So that whole moment, the moment where they're actually capturing everyone, takes place over 2 pages. That's it. Just knockout. So basically, Deku capturing frickin' Shinso, which we don't actually get to see him wrapping himself up with the frickin' rope or the scarf very well, which that's a bit disappointing in the manga, but in the anime we actually get to see that he's wrapping himself up in the scarf to actually make it easier to capture him, which is awesome. And then we see everyone else get knocked out, thrown into the frickin' sticky balls, and then frickin' Mina just uppercutting the guy. Oh, and so on and so forth. Everyone gets caught, everyone's put in there except for the one person, which I'm just... Why exactly did she get put into, she just gets stuck to the frickin' balls. They don't take her off the balls and just put her in the cage or anything. They just leave her there while they move everyone else over to the frickin' cage. I just... What the frell? I don't know. Also, I do have to say, it's also really awesome to just see that the little joke that has been going on a lot more in the anime actually come to its fruition. To see Midnight is unbiased commentator. Oh, but yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Again, we get a lot of the discussion, and also a much, in my opinion, much better way to show off that Class A won. Going through each of the different battles and saying, here, this is what happened, this is what happened, it feels a lot smoother than what happened in the manga, because it's basically Class 1A won on one tiny panel in the manga, giving off a little bit of the explanation, but it's not much, and then everyone's cheering the next panel, which just, yeah. There is some really cool, nice moments, and that's pretty much it. And then the final discussion of basically everything that happened, starting with Deku, because he's in trouble. But everyone talks about the whole situation, primarily focusing on the three who are most important to this whole situation, Deku, Uraraka, and Shinso. And we will get a little bit from the others next chapter, but it's pretty short comparison. And they also reworked some things because they didn't really explain everything too well, I feel. Because I think that because we do know that there is still going to be that moment where where Aizawa tells the entire class that Shinso is going to be joining one of the two classes next semester, which, yeah, that's going to be fun. Or next year, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, in the second year. So, yeah, that's fun. Oh. But yeah, there's just a little bit of that, and it also looks like we are still going to get some more discussions with the different people, and then some stuff with Monoma, and yeah, which I actually want to briefly talk about what is going to happen with episode 100. So that episode is looking like it is not going to be what I was hoping it was going to be. Basically, an episode to announce that Vigilantes is coming. Unfortunately, it is not that, sadly. Big tier. But instead, it is going to be an episode. It's just going to be a conclusion of basically everything that has happened so far. Basically wrapping a few things up, getting us through a lot of the different aspects, finishing up the discussion about Shinso is going to be joining the class, everyone hanging out, a battle between Deku and Bakugo one more time, a discussion about what is going to happen with the quirks, basically preparing for stuff that is going to be happening during the Endeavor Agency arc. A lot of other little pieces that are going to be really important moving forward. This is a really big episode in general, but it's not completely important. We also get to see that there's going to be some stuff with Eri. There's going to be some cool stuff with everyone hanging out, which is not the big hangout that is going to be happening for Christmas. That is in the Endeavor Agency arc. Look forward to that. That is one of my favorite moments of the series. So seriously, look forward to seeing that next season, probably. Pretty early on is my assumption. But yeah. So that's going to be pretty self-explanatory. A decent, actual good explanation of how exactly Monoma's quirk works. Basically, he explains through Fat Gum and all of that, and how his quirk works connected to Fat Gum. Basically, he doesn't build up the fat, so he can't really use the quirk effectively. And so on and so forth. There's other aspects to it. We're not going to focus on that right now. And yeah, cool little winter party with frickin' Sue being a frog. And there is a decent possibility that we will get to see at least a little bit of a preparation for everyone going off to do their tests. or finishing their tests. I'm not 100% certain on that because of the fact that there's still some stuff left to happen. I think that might actually happen next episode. There's a lot to that whole situation, and figuring that out specifically is going to be a bit of a challenge. But basically, the next episodes are episodes after episode 100 are going to be the transitional period into one of the best arcs of the anime, of the manga, and I am so excited for that. And actually, I do want to briefly mention that I think that after episode 100, we still might get that anime-only episode that is going to be revealing that we're going to be getting Vigilantes soon. Like I've said in multiple videos in the past, Vigilantes is so important, especially considering the fact that that is where a lot of the story about frickin' Aizawa's backstory happens. And remember, we are currently... an important thing to note is that Volume 10 released simultaneously with Volume 28, which, yeah, that's a pretty big deal, which, keep in mind, we're not getting that until July, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. So, yeah, there's a lot to that, and we're going to be, needless to say, I'm really excited to talk more about that volume once it comes out. But I do have a lot of other reviews coming you guys' way very soon, so look forward to seeing all of those in a very short amount of time. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys are excited to see everything that is coming down the route with My Hero Academia just as much as I am. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and ring that notification bell. And of course... if you guys have any thoughts or theories, please leave them down in the comments below. If you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you guys are going to if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways that you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron, Sheeny. But anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!